Hey guys, this here, I'm just going to some news that we got regarding the Flash's final season, aka Season 9. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button down below, subscribe for new notifications on, jump right to the Flash news video. Over the weekend, Violet Bean, who used to play Jesse Quick on The Flash in Season 2, 3, and 4, and that was the last time we ever saw her, Season 4, she was killed off in Crisis, or because of Crisis, but also because of Arrow 801, when her tube disappeared, the antimatter, or antimatter, whatever the hell you want to call it. Jesse and Harry died in that episode. We didn't see them die, but they're dead. At least pre-Crisis. Post-Crisis, they don't know this multiverse, so, all that. Over the weekend, Violet Bean posted on her Instagram, or I'm assuming Instagram, I didn't actually see it, that she was out with Javicia Leslie and Kenneth Payton, who obviously Kenneth Payton is Cyrus Stalin, and Javicia Leslie is returning for Flash Season 9 with Red Death and Batwoman both playing in those roles. And it's interesting that she posted that. This doesn't confirm that she's going to be in Season 9. I'm not saying it is. But I do think it leaves the door open. Now, she's in Vancouver right now filming some show. It's not The Flash or something else. So it wouldn't take much for Eric Wallace to call her up and say, hey, can you come on The Flash for a few episodes or not? But here's the thing. If they were to do that, they would have done that already. Javicia Leslie, as of today, has wrapped filming for The Flash. She's done. There's no more Red Death. There's no more Batwoman. So what it looks like is it's either from 903 to 905, 903 to 906, or 902 to 905, or 902 to 906. The point is, it either starts at 902 and 903, or it ends at 905 and 906. But nonetheless, Red Death is a graphic novel. There's no way she's not at this point. But in the comics, as I said several times, Bruce Wayne straps Barry Allen to a treadmill that's connected to the Batmobile, rams them two into the Speed Force, they merge, and here comes Red Death. And there's little fragments of Barry Allen piercing through Bruce Wayne, and in the end, which is actually what becomes the reverse Red Death in the comics, which they're not going to pull off in live action. They could do it. I don't think it'd work out well. So I'd be surprised if they did like the full-on yellow Red Death suit like in the comics. But what it did was Barry Allen broke through and he became Barry Allen again. But he still had like that evilness inside of him in a way, but he was still good. He was just still Barry Allen that we knew and loved. It's just, he's different now. I don't actually remember what happened to him in the comics after that, but I knew that the Red Death suit turned yellow. It was a reverse Red Death, and Barry Allen was just pretty much destroyed mentally because of what happened. But the reason I'm bringing all that up is because obviously it's Javicia Leslie playing this role. It'd be kind of weird if we had Grant Gustin's Barry Allen on whatever the hell Earth this Red Death is from, whether it's Earth -52, which is part of the Dark Multiverse, or it's from some random Earth in the actual multiverse. But wherever the hell she's from, it'd be kind of weird if Barry and Ryan merged. It'd be a little bit weird. So the reason why everyone's speculating that, okay, Jesse Quick's returning, not only based off Violet Bean's posts, but also it would make a lot of sense. There's not a lot of female speedsters in the Arrowverse. In the comics, there's a lot. But in the Arrowverse, Jesse Quick, or a version of Jesse Quick, who is a Flash, I mean, if you're bringing in Batwoman, who is a Batman-esque character, and you're gender-swapping Red Death, which I love, by the way. A lot of people don't love, but I really do appreciate it, what they're doing, because I think it really does tie into the Arrowverse more and more and more, Because again, we don't have a Bruce Wayne. We don't have a Batman on Earth Prime. We don't have Batman in the Arrowverse. But we do have is a Batwoman. And it makes the most sense to make Batwoman Red Death. So, again, the most valid sense here that I can make of this for Red Death to actually become a thing is for Jesse Quick to take the role of Barry Allen in the comics, where Ryan Wilder takes the role of Bruce Wayne, which is where Ryan Wilder straps a cosmic treadmill to her Batmobile, gets Jesse Quick onto that treadmill, and they ram into the Speed Force, merge, become Red Death, and there's parts of Jesse Quick that are showing in Ryan Wilder when she doesn't have the helmet on, which we actually saw in Cephalus, it looks like. Because right now, Violet Bean, from what it looked like in the photo she took, she has blonde hair. And Ryan Wilder, from one of the Cephalus we got, which I noticed it right away, but I didn't even think to bring it up, because I was like, okay, this is not Earth's Ryan Wilder, who cares? But it didn't connect to me that this could be connecting the dots to Jesse Quick returning with blonde hair. You could see a figment of like whitish and blonde kind of hair going around Ryan Wilder's head. It's not her entire hair. It's like a large strand of her hair going from kind of the center of her hair around, I think it was the right or left side of her head and into the back of her hairline. And it ended there. If that's like a figment of Jesse Quick, I mean, it kind of lined up with the comics here. It really would. Some people were saying that they could see an eye contact lens on one Javicia's eyes when the Red Hood mask was off and they were just on set. That could also be another thing related to Jesse Quick, if assuming it is her and it's not some random person. But the thing is, it is blonde hair. Violet Bean is blonde hair right now. I think it's the most logical sense for her to say Jesse Quick is involved in Red Death's origin. That or is a comic accurate Barry Allen with blonde hair. I mean, if they're just like teasing everyone at this point, like, oh, you all complain that Grant doesn't have blonde hair. Here's a Grant Gustin's Barry Allen with blonde hair, and he merged with Ryan Wilder. Here's Red Death, and it's going to be showing figments of that blonde hair and a little bit of Grant piercing through Ryan Wilder. I would much prefer if it was Violet Bean in this situation. If it was Jesse Quick piercing through Ryan Wilder, who's becoming Red Death. I think that'd be a much more interesting storyline to put forward than it being Grant. I love Grant. We all do. If you don't love Grant, I don't know what's wrong with you, but there's something. But my point is that it would be so much more interesting, so much more unique and more cooler if it wasn't Grant, if it wasn't Barry Allen in the scene where Ryan Wilder becomes Red Death. Because you can't tell me they're not going to show that. Like, you can't tell me they're not going to show how Red Death became Red Death. I do not see that being a thing that they don't do. And I especially don't see them doing where Red Death just gets knocked out, she's locked up, and that's it. No, that's not really how they should end Red Death. It needs to be a big thing. And because it is in the comics, it's a big thing when Barry takes down Red Death and has all these people helping him. And so, and we know Hotness, Hartley Sawyer, Harley Rathaway, and Goldface are all going to be supposedly helping Barry take down Red Death alongside Ryan Wilder. I'm assuming help, I don't actually know. From what it looked like they're helping, but who knows? Could not be. I did a full video over that. But nonetheless, if this is related to Red Death, and if Justice Quick is Season 9, which it most likely would be, I think it would be the most, again, unique and logical way to take Red Death. If they didn't gender swap Red Death, if they didn't make it Ryan Wilder and they made it like an Oliver Queen or a Wally West or someone else, then I would say, okay, it's a Barry Allen from whatever hell Earth this Red Death is from. They merge, it's found in the comics, and instead of Bruce Wayne, it's whoever else, like Oliver, Wally, or whatever. But because they did gender swap it, which again, I love that they did, because it lines up with the Arrowverse, with no Batman, no Bruce Wayne. Oliver becoming Red Death wouldn't really make any sense. It just confused a lot of people. Although it would have an emotional impact. A lot more than Ryan, I think. But at the same time, Barry and Ryan clearly know each other at this point. Which I brought up several times, makes sense. They're not going to be made off screen. They're not going to meet for the first time in L3, not L4, whenever Ryan's recruited to help take down Red Death. Barry and Ryan have met off screen. We've known that for probably a year or two now. I think it was even mentioned back in season 7 or 8, with Barry knowing Ryan Mahler's Batwoman now. So it would not add up at all if these two did not work together. And also in the Earth Prime Comics, present day Ryan Wilder, I'm pretty sure was mentioned to be working with Barry Allen at one point, or at least Supergirl. And if she's worked with Supergirl, you can't tell me she didn't work with Barry Allen. I mean, it's kind of full-fledged force to say what the hell is going on here with Barry and Ryan. It wouldn't make sense for them to meet the first time in season 9. Like, they clearly met off screen. So there might be that emotional, scary impact for Barry there, seeing her in that suit, assuming he actually sees her in that suit, which I'm assuming he would. But it's going to be something. And our whole thing is that, again, because they did gender swap in, is Ryan Wilder, it'd be a little bit weird if it was Barry Allen that she merged with. So I think the more logical response here is that Ryan Wilder, whatever that Earth she's from, merged with Jesse Quick, and here's Red Death, which will be found in the comics. Now, again, in the comics, Barry Allen broke through and became the reverse Red Death, which was a yellow Red Death suit. I don't remember exactly what happened after, but I do not see them pulling that off. As much as I'd love to see that in live action, a reverse Red Death suit, I mean, that's pretty cool to do. But I do not see that ever being the case. Now, if it's not Jesse Quick here, who could that be? Could it be Barry? Yeah, but at the same time, that blonde or white hair that's going through Ryan Wilder's hair, like it's like whoever she took over or merged with to become Red Death on her Earth, it's like parts of that person are showing through. So I can't see it being Barry Allen, or at least our Barry Allen. Maybe it is Grant, again, just with blonde hair. I could see that, but is it really worth it? I don't think it is. Nonetheless, we're going to get something in live action. I can't see them not doing a Red Death Origins in season 9. I can't see that. There's no way they could bring in Red Death for as big of a character as he is and not do Red Death origin story. I can't see them not doing that. To add furthermore onto that, assuming it is a graphic novel, and it's like 4-ish episodes, 3 or 4 probably episodes, possibly even 5, there's 100% going to be an origin story in there. And I do not think it will be a filler. I think it will be a full-on origin episode with like flashbacks to how Red Death became to be, and, flashing back to Barry figuring out who Red Death is and how she came to be. I think that's could be the best episode of the graphic novel, just like eyeballing it, if they go down that route. If they don't do an origin story for Red Death, I will be heavily disappointed, no matter how that comes out. I don't care if it's Barry, I don't care if it's Jesse, I don't care if it's a version of Iris as the Flash. Just as long as they do a Red Death origin story to tie it into the comics and make it live action, I will be okay with that. I don't care who she's merging with. As long as there's an origin story for Red Death, I do not care. And as long as we see it, too. I want to see it. That's the one thing from the Red Death entirety in the comics, in the Dark Metal comics, when Red Death appeared, the coolest thing to me was how Red Death became Red Death. How Bruce Wayne took Barry Allen's body, just merged with Speed Force powers, here's a Batman with super speed, and he destroyed all these Earths. He ended up on the Earth, whatever the hell Earth the main Barry Allen was on. I think it was Earth Prime even, in the comics, and nearly killed Barry with like a bazillion Batmobiles, who are all super, have the Speed Force coursing through all those vehicles, and also can just stand by someone and kill them because he's the face of death. Literally the face of death. A lot more than Black Flash ever was in the comics. So, again, this character is a big threat. The biggest threat that Barry will probably ever face, assuming Red Death is not nerfed in the Arrowverse, which I would not be surprised if she was. But the point is, is that the number one thing that interested me for Red Death in the comics was the origin story, how he became to be. So they could probably, and again, the entire graphic novel of Red Death in the comics was amazing. I think it was one of the coolest storylines of the Flash that they've ever done, from what I remember. In the show, they can pull it off if it's done well, and we don't have a nerfed Barry Allen and a nerfed Red Death. We shouldn't be getting that in the 90s and well in the final season of the show. We just had 20 episodes of Barry being OP as crap. You could probably even fight Superman and take him down if you really wanted to. Without kryptonite. Like, for real, you probably could. But, and I'm talking about the Earth Prime Superman, I'm talking about like Superman Lois' Superman, which we all know is kind of overpowered Superman there. Right? On some level he is. Or, Supergirl, or I don't know. I mean, Barry definitely got Season 8 could take down pretty much everyone and anyone if you really wanted to. That is my point. In Season 9, that should not go away. We need villains that will hold up to Barry not being able to stop them right away. Like, we need villains that will actually pose a threat. And that threat is Red Death. Again, Red Death is one of the most powerful villains Barry Allen ever faced in the comics. If they nerf her, that's just going to ruin the graphic novel, especially for me and a lot of people who've been wanting Red Death, I think will ruin it for her. But at the same time, if we get a nerfed Barry Allen who's being stupid and idiotical, and we're relying on Team Flash to tell him what to do when fighting Red Death, there's no point in this character even being on the show in the first place if they're not going to do it right. So they need to deliver. I hope they delivered, because I'm pretty sure they're done with this graphic novel. And also, the character's Red Death. I would be somewhat surprised if everyone walked away from this graphic novel. Because it would not be a Flash season if someone didn't die. Season 1, we had Eddie. Ronnie. Season 2, we had Jay. And then it was Henry. Season 3, we had Iris and an HR, even though Iris didn't die. Season 4, we had Ralph, but he came back. Season 5, we had XS. Season 6, we had Oliver and like everyone, and then Oliver again. Season 7, we had the entire case of Speed Force dying, and all the Force coming back, and then some of the Forces dying, then coming back, and then some people dying, coming back. And then we had Jay being dead in the future, but coming back because timeline change. And in Season 8, we had Frost die. It would not be a Flash season if someone did not die. And what's the most logical way to kill someone off in a graphic novel? Bring in someone called Red Death, even to go after Barry Allen. I mean, Red Death, the Death is literally in the name. I can't see them not killing someone on Team Flash off within the first few episodes. I don't know who it'll be. I don't think it'll be Ryan Wilder. I would be genuinely surprised if they did that. But I don't think it'd be Chester. I don't think it'd be Joe or Iris. I don't think it'd be Allegra either. We all wish it'd be Cecile. I know we all wish it would be Cecile. Red Death would do us all a favor if he just murdered Cecile, like, straight up. But it won't happen. Depressingly. But I don't know who else to kill off there. But I would be somewhat surprised if they didn't kill someone off through Red Death. I don't know who, but I'd be somewhat surprised if no one died during this graphic novel for Red Death. Like, no. Red Death is an all-powerful demigod, death-facing monster, I mean, in the comics, so they're going to bring that to the Arrowverse. Someone's bound to die to this. I can't see that ever being a thing where that's not going to happen. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens, I guess. But yeah, thank you for watching the video. Have a good day. Have a good night. Stay safe. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.